Okay, this is part 4, first half molding. So what I'm doing now is using a hot glue gun and some foam core board to start making the walls for my first half molding box. And it's very important to make sure that you have enough glue on your boards to make a seal proper. Try to get the boards as close as you can to the clay in your first half here, so that your seal will be good and that you won't have to modify it very much. So I'm just laying each piece down, putting a bead along the edge and on the bottom, and that's essentially all you need to do. I cut that last piece to the size of the model, and now I'm putting it on the last wall here, and I just put the bead on the bottom, and then I'm just pulling the box apart so I can put my stuff in there. Now, this glue gun was not ideal for this job. If you can get a better glue gun with a sharper or longer tip, that would be much better. This one was really hard to deal with. Now I'm taking my clay mold and just pushing it against the wall sides and making sure that there's a nice seal there against the wall, so that my material won't be falling down in between that wall and clay mold. So I'm just using my fingers to push it back down. I think I wanted to make a couple more register marks that I messed with now that I've been using my finger in there, and just resetting those, or actually I should say straight up and down. Now I'm getting the I've already poured in the part B, and this is part A. I don't know why I did it that way, or maybe I did. Anyway, and I'm going to use the stirring stick to stir it up as best I can with my stirring stick. Some people have used like a fan blade type stirring. Well, now I'm just pouring it over top the model. I'm going to start here where there's the most amount of holes, and the viscosity of this is pretty good, and the cure time for this was 6 hours. The setup time was 7 minutes, I believe. So you had about 5 or 4 minutes to finish getting the mold together. This was 64 fluid ounces of material, and I realized that I did not have enough. And so here I am trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel. And yeah, that was just not going to be enough to cover the whole model. But luckily I had another kit I could use. Okay, well, I meant for us to do this yesterday because it only took 6 hours, supposed to take only 6 hours before this was all the way cured, but it's now the next day, so it's about 24 hours since I've started this project. I'm hoping that the clay, which this stuff right here is supposed to air dry, I'm hoping that this has sort of not totally solidified the clay, so we'll see. And let's see what we got. So I'm just gonna try to pull this away without breaking it too much here. The edges there. still wet. That's good. Okay. See that? Reuse those or not. They're pretty well messed up. But my goal here is to take this off and undo all the clay. Let's see what we got here. All right, so what I need to do is I need to keep the model in there so that it still maintains the seal. Looks like my release did a good job. Mold release, I should say. What I don't want is the mold to come out of there. So this now means I just need to come back through here and sort of clean all this up. These rubber tip tools, I'm going to go ahead and replace the water on that. All right. Should be able to clean this up pretty good. So after I clean this up, basically my next mold is going to come up and over top of this bit here, seep in there. So I'm going to try to clean this up without getting anything into the mold. Using this guy to clean but it feels like this guy because it's a harder edge. Should be using this guy. Clean up, keep it wet, moist. All right, that looks pretty good, but it's not perfect. And this is doing its job, but it's not allowing me to get into the great detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some other tools that will help me. All right. That's pretty good. But one thing good to know is that by taking out all this extra material, it will give much more definition to your cast. The nice thing about these tools that have the rubber tips is that if you, let's say that you were working on a cast model already, the rubber tips won't scar or scratch your original material. Like if you were using a metal object, it would not scratch, whereas these metal tools definitely will scratch. And I'm just curious about Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to reuse some of this material that I used on the top part. And I'm just going to lay this down on the bottom. And try to recreate my seals. It's got to be at least this high. Good. Give me what I need. Two nice pieces. creases for the sides. All right. Good. Let's go ahead and start our glue gun going. Start on this edge. And just a little bit away. So we have a bad gap right in there. Right in there, that's not going to be good. But everywhere else looks great. Remember to like and subscribe. See ya!